Have you ever stopped to look at the color of your rosary and wondered why you chose that specific one? Do you think it was just a coincidence, or that heaven wanted to speak to you through it? Father Pio used to say that nothing in the spiritual life happens by chance, and that even the simplest objects, like a rosary, can carry a deep meaning, a hidden warning, or a promise straight from heaven. Today, I want to share with you, using the very words that Father Pio passed on to his spiritual children, the 7 colors of the rosary and their true meanings, and also why one of them can be spiritually dangerous if you don't understand it properly. The rosary isn't just decoration or jewelry, it's a weapon. Father Pio himself called it his favorite weapon. He said that every Hail Mary prayed with faith was like a bullet of light fired against the darkness. But what happens when that weapon has a color you didn't choose with discernment? The devil, the saint said, also imitates the things of God. He can disguise deception as beauty, make you love what pulls you away from heaven, and can even use a color to distract you from the purity of your prayer. Father Pio taught us to pay attention to signs, and among those signs is color. Every color of the rosary awakens a particular grace, an intention, a virtue that the soul needs to cultivate. That's why, when choosing a rosary, don't just pick one because you like it. Do it prayerfully. Ask the Holy Spirit which one you need at this stage of your life. If you believe in the wisdom of Father Pio and want to discover which rosary color might be the one heaven is calling you to use right now, write in the comments, "Father Pio, guide my prayer." Your words create an echo in the spiritual realm, and they help this message reach others who need to hear it. Now here's what most people don't realize. The color of your rosary isn't just about personal preference, it's about spiritual alignment. It's about understanding the battle you're fighting and choosing the right armor for it. Father Pio spent decades guiding souls, and one thing he noticed repeatedly was this: people were drawn to certain colors for a reason. Sometimes that reason came from heaven, other times it came from somewhere else. And that's where the danger lies. The rosary is a weapon. Father Pio would repeat this constantly. He didn't mean it poetically, he meant it literally. In the spiritual battle that rages around us every day, the rosary is what strikes fear into the heart of evil. Every bead you touch, every prayer you whisper, these aren't just religious exercises. They're acts of war against darkness. But here's what most people miss. A weapon is only as effective as the warrior who wields it. You can own 10 rosaries, carry them everywhere, but if you're praying without intention, without understanding, you're leaving yourself vulnerable. Father Pio understood something crucial. The devil is strategic. He doesn't always come with obvious temptations. Sometimes he's subtle, creating distractions, planting confusion, making holy things feel routine. And one of his favorite tactics, making you think that details don't matter, that as long as you're doing something spiritual, you're fine. But that's a lie. Details matter. Intention matters. The color of your rosary matters because it reflects what your soul is asking for, what grace you're seeking, what battle you're fighting right now. When you choose a color with prayer and discernment, you're telling heaven, "This is what I need. This is where I'm struggling." And heaven responds to that kind of clarity. Father Pio would often say that when you pray without understanding, the devil laughs. But when you pray with purpose, when you know exactly why you're holding those beads, that's when the devil trembles. Because that's when your prayer becomes focused power instead of scattered energy. Let's start with the white rosary. Father Pio called this the Rosary of Purity, the Rosary of the Immaculate Mary. When you pray with a white rosary, you're asking for the grace of a pure heart, clean thoughts, and right intentions. This is the color that pushes away impure thoughts, that heals wounds from the past, and that purifies the soul. If you're someone who struggles with temptation, who feels your heart getting clouded with things you know aren't good for you. If you battle with memories that haunt you, this is your color. Father Pio used to tell people to place their white rosary under their pillow and pray every night. Mary, cover me with your mantle and make me pure like your heart. There's power in that simple act. When you sleep with that rosary beneath your head, you're inviting Mary's protection into your most vulnerable hours. The night is when the mind wanders, when fears creep in, when temptations feel strongest. But with that white rosary there, you're putting up a shield. The blue rosary is the color of the sky, and it represents peace and faithfulness. This is the rosary for people seeking serenity in the middle of storms. Father Pio used to say that the soul who prays with the blue rosary keeps its gaze fixed on heaven. If you're going through anxiety right now, if fear is gripping your heart, if there are arguments in your home that never seem to end, the blue rosary brings calm. Father Pio recommended blessing it with holy water and placing it near a window so that heaven's peace could enter your house. Think about how blue makes you feel when you look up at a clear sky. There's something about that color that naturally settles the soul. It's vast, it's calm, it's bigger than your problems. That's what the blue rosary does for your prayer life. It lifts your eyes above the chaos. People who pray with the blue rosary often report feeling a weight lift off their shoulders. Anxiety that's been crushing them starts to ease. Sleep comes easier. Conversations that were explosive become gentler. It's not magic, it's grace. The red rosary is the color of blood and love. It's the rosary of sacrifice. This represents the passion of Christ. Father Pio, who bore the stigmata and was united to the pain of Jesus, recommended this rosary specifically for those suffering from illness, betrayal, or difficult trials. Every red bead is a drop of Christ's blood poured out for you. This is the rosary that transforms pain into purpose. If you're sick right now, if your body is failing you, if someone you trusted has betrayed you, if you're carrying wounds that feel too deep to heal, pick up a red rosary. The red rosary doesn't take away the suffering, but it sanctifies it. It turns your pain into prayer, your agony into intercession. Father Pio understood suffering like few others. His hands bled for 50 years. Yet he never wasted his suffering. He offered it, and he taught others to do the same. When someone would come to him broken by illness or heartbreak, he'd give them a red rosary and tell them, "Your pain has value. Don't waste it. Offer it for sinners, for the dying, for souls on the edge of hell." The green rosary is tied to hope. It's the color for someone walking without seeing but still trusting. Mary promised that where there is hope, the enemy cannot remain. The green rosary is also linked to intercession for lost souls, for those who have walked away from the church. If you have a child who has turned away from God, if there's someone you love who's lost in addiction or living a life that breaks your heart, pray with a green rosary for their conversion. Father Pio told parents to place the green rosary on a photo of their wayward child and pray, "Mary, don't let your child be lost." Green is the color of life, of growth, of things that are still alive even when they look dead. Think about a seed buried in dark soil. You can't see what's happening underground, but life is stirring. That's what hope looks like. That's what the green rosary represents. A mother once learned about the green rosary and its power for interceding for lost souls. Her son had fallen deep into drugs, and nothing seemed to reach him. She got a green rosary, placed it on his photograph, and began praying with focused intention. "Mary, don't let your child be lost." Months passed. Nothing seemed to change, but she didn't stop. Then one morning, her phone rang. It was her son. His voice was different, broken, humble. "Mom, I need help. I want to come home." Today he's in recovery, rebuilding his life, and his mother still keeps that green rosary because she knows that hope brought her son home. You know, As we're talking about the power of the Rosary and how Father Pio used it as his greatest weapon, I want to share something that could truly deepen your prayer life. Many people have been asking how they can pray the Rosary with more devotion, how they can experience the same connection that Father Pio had. That's why we created something special, an ebook called The Power of the Rosary with Father Pio, Miracles, Protection, and Divine Graces. This spiritual treasure is designed to help you learn how to pray the Rosary with deeper devotion, discover the miracles and testimonies of those who have experienced its power, and get to know the most impactful teachings of Father Pio about prayer. It includes a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions to strengthen your faith, plus special prayers for protection, healing, and deliverance. The Rosary was Father Pio's greatest weapon, and today it can be yours too. To download it, just click the link pinned in the comments. Now, the golden or yellow Rosary, this is the symbol of glory, of heavenly promises. Father Pio called it the Rosary of Gratitude. This is the one you pray when your soul wants to thank God for what you've already received and for what you haven't seen yet, but trust is coming. It represents the eternal light of heaven, the victory over darkness. If you're living through a season of spiritual abundance, if you just received a blessing that took your breath away, pray with a golden rosary to offer that happiness back to God. But here's the beautiful twist. Even if you haven't seen the blessing yet, even if you're still waiting in darkness, pray with the golden rosary anyway. Faith anticipates the light before the dawn breaks. This is the Rosary of Radical Trust. It's for people who can thank God before the answer comes, who can praise in the middle of the storm, who can hold up gratitude like a torch, even when everything around them is falling apart. The Black Rosary is the most mysterious. Father Pio warned that this should only be used by souls very firm in their faith. Black represents mourning, reparation, prayer for the souls in purgatory. It's not a color of curse, but of deep sacrifice. However, he warned clearly, the enemy rejoices when a weak soul uses the color of shadow without understanding its weight. If you're someone sensitive to negative energies, if you easily feel oppressed spiritually, don't use a black rosary just because it looks mysterious. Reserve it for the month of November, for the dead, or when you're offering masses for forgotten souls. It's a rosary of love, but a love that mourns and makes reparation. The Black Rosary is for spiritual warriors who can carry heavy intercession without being crushed by it. Praying for souls in purgatory is powerful, but it requires strength. Father Pio recommended using the Black Rosary intentionally, not casually. Light a candle, sprinkle holy water on it. Always ask the Holy Spirit for protection before you begin. And now we come to the warning Father Pio made with special emphasis. The multicolored rosary, the one with beads of different colors all mixed together. This is the one that can be spiritually dangerous if you don't understand what you're doing. Let me be clear. The multicolored rosary isn't evil. It's not cursed. But here's what Father Pio warned about. It mixes intentions, it disorders prayer, and it scatters the mind. And that scattering, that confusion, that's exactly what the enemy wants. Heaven is order. God is a God of clarity, of purpose, of intention. The enemy thrives in chaos. He loves confusion. He celebrates when your mind is wandering, when your prayers feel scattered, when you're going through the motions without really connecting. Father Pio used to say, when you pray without intention, the devil laughs. When you pray with purpose, the devil trembles. Every single color we've talked about carries a specific grace, a specific intention. White for purity, blue for peace, red for sacrifice, green for hope, golden for gratitude, black for souls in purgatory. Each one is like tuning your radio to a particular frequency where heaven is broadcasting a particular message. But when you mix them all together without thought, without prayer, you're trying to listen to 7 radio stations at once. Nothing comes through clearly. The message gets garbled. Your prayer loses power not because God stops listening, but because you stop focusing. Many people buy multicolored rosaries because they look pretty, they're eye-catching, they make a statement. But when beauty becomes the only reason you chose something sacred, when aesthetics replace intention, you're on dangerous ground. The rosary becomes an accessory instead of a weapon. If you already have a multicolored rosary, don't throw it away. Don't feel guilty. Instead, purify it. Sprinkle holy water on it and pray. Holy Spirit, reveal to me what this rosary is for. Show me when and how to use it. Maybe God will give you a specific intention for it, or maybe you'll realize you need to choose a single color rosary that matches where you are right now. The danger isn't in owning a multicolored rosary. The danger is in using sacred things carelessly, in treating prayer like it doesn't matter. This matters. Your prayer life matters. The weapon you choose matters. Father Pio recommended that people have more than one rosary, each with a specific purpose. He also taught them exactly where to place each one, because location matters in the spiritual life. The white rosary belongs next to your bed. Place it where it's the last thing you touch before sleep and the first thing you see when you wake. The battle for purity is often won or lost in those vulnerable hours. The blue rosary should be in your prayer space, near where you talk to God every day. Let it remind you that peace is available. The red rosary should be placed near your crucifix. Christ's sacrifice and your offering of suffering, they're meant to be united. The green rosary goes by the entrance of your home. It's a declaration that this household believes in hope, that no one is beyond salvation. The golden rosary should be placed near an image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Gratitude and divine love belong together. The black rosary should be kept under a candle that you light specifically for the souls in purgatory. Give those suffering souls a sacred space in your home. Father Pio insisted that each rosary must have a living intention. Never pray out of routine. He used to say, if people knew how many souls are saved by one decade prayed well, they would weep with emotion. Every bead you touch is a call to heaven. Every mystery you contemplate is a portal of light. When you pray with awareness, your rosary becomes a shield and demons flee. There was a young man who suffered from crushing anxiety for years. Every night was a battle. His mind would race with worst-case scenarios. He tried everything, but nothing broke through. Someone gave him a black rosary as a gift. He started praying with it every night, hoping for relief. But instead of getting better, he felt heavier. The anxiety intensified. Then someone who understood Father Pio's teachings recognized the problem immediately. The black rosary, meant for interceding for souls in purgatory, was adding spiritual weight to someone already drowning. They suggested he switch to a blue rosary, the one that carries heaven's peace. He made the change, blessed the blue rosary with holy water, and began praying with clear intention every night. Within weeks, something shifted. The panic attacks started to ease. Sleep came more naturally. His mind began to settle. For the first time in years, he could breathe. Was it instant? No. Was it miraculous? Absolutely. Because when you align your prayer with the grace you actually need, heaven pours out what you've been asking for all along. Here's what it all comes down to. The danger isn't in the color. The real danger is a heart that's empty, a prayer life that's cold, a soul that's stopped fighting. The most dangerous rosary of all is the one that never gets prayed. Father Pio didn't talk about rosaries to make things complicated. He talked about them because he loved you too much to let you waste your prayers. He wanted you equipped. He wanted you effective. He wanted you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take your rosary. Hold it in your hands. Look at it. Thank God for it. And then ask yourself honestly, Is this the color I need right now? Is this the grace my soul is crying out for? If the answer is yes, commit to praying it with new intention. No more autopilot. Every bead becomes a conversation. Every mystery becomes a meditation. Every prayer becomes a weapon fired with precision. But if you feel a stirring in your spirit, if something is telling you that you need a different color for this season, then listen to that voice. That's the Holy Spirit guiding you. God speaks through these promptings. He's trying to give you exactly what you need. When you pray tonight, offer that rosary for the people who can't pray. Offer it for the ones who've lost their faith, who've walked away. Offer it for the souls in purgatory who have no one to remember them. Offer it for the dying, for the desperate, for the ones standing on the edge of choices that will determine their eternity. That's how your rosary becomes what Father Pio called it, a weapon of love that conquers heaven. If this message has touched your heart, write in the comments, "Mary, teach me to pray with love." Those words create a ripple in the spiritual realm, and they help this message reach others who need to hear it. Here's the thing. We can only continue bringing you these messages because of your support. When you hit that like button, you're telling the algorithm to spread this further. When you share this video, you're becoming a missionary, carrying the wisdom of Father Pio to someone who might be one prayer away from a breakthrough. When you become a member of this channel, you're investing in a mission bigger than entertainment. You're helping build a community of believers who refuse to let the faith die. We're fighting for souls here. We're preserving teachings that the world wants to forget, but we can't do it without you. So please take that extra second to like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope. Subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you are able, consider becoming a member. Pick up your rosary tonight. Choose it with intention, pray it with fire, and watch what God does when you finally align your weapon with your battle. May the peace of Christ guard your heart. May the prayers of Father Pio accompany you. May the mantle of Mary cover you, and may your rosary become the weapon that changes everything.